Hi and welcome to Bytes and Bits. I'm always on the lookout for high quality game controllers that can be easily switched around a range of different platforms, as I tend to test and play with my retro gaming systems and modern gaming systems and so on. So when GameSir offered to send me one of their brand new Super Nova controllers, I was very keen to give this a go. So this is it here. So let's take a look at what we've got, what it can do and how well it plays. In the box then, you get the controller itself. So this is an Xbox style controller and it does use Hall effect sensors on both of the analog sticks and on the trigger inputs. And that of course then will ensure that these don't wear out and start drifting the same way that the carbon potentiometer sensors will do. The triggers also then have a trigger stop function. So if you look on the back of the unit, you'll see these little switches here. So at the moment if I press my trigger on this side, you can see it's got quite a long length of travel. If I flick the switch across to the short setting, now the trigger only moves a short distance to give you sort of faster response times. And again, you can set in this software to tell it that you've done this so that you actually get the full range of motion actually in the game control. So the unit also has a 6-axis gyroscopic sensor, and that gives it full tilt and motion detection. Now of course this is mainly for use if you're using it as a Nintendo Switch, and it will then mimic the full Pro controller for that system. And of course then, inside we do have dual asymmetric vibration motors to give you some really good haptic feedback, and the actual amount of feedback you get again is fully settable using the control buttons here. Now the buttons themselves, the D-pad buttons and the shoulder switches, they're all really good quality actually. They have a really positive feel. They're not squishy like you get on some, and they don't click. They just give you a really solid button press. So on the back of the unit we also have another 2 extra buttons down here, and these are programmable, so they can be set up to mimic any of the other controls on the controller, but you can also record macros with them to sort of do multiple presses with the one button press. So while we're on this bottom of the unit, you'll see here there is a connection mode switch. So this controller can be used as either a USB-C plugged in device, so you can plug it in with an actual cable. It has Bluetooth enabled, and it also then has a 2.4 GHz USB dongle connection. So this will pretty much allow you to connect with anything, and of course that includes in sort of Windows machines, Linux, macOS, iOS, Android, and of course the Nintendo Switch. So again, if you're like me and you're always swapping your controller around different systems, then this is a very quick and easy way to swap that connection and have it paired up with your new device. Now as for the feel of the controller, it's actually got a really nice weight. It's not too heavy and it's not too light. Feeling them here is probably the same weight as my Xbox 360 controller. So it has a textured grip area here on the palms, and that just makes it feel really nice in the hand. It doesn't slip, and it just feels comfortable. Now, one of the new features on this controller is that it does include these RGB LED lighting effects on each side. And again, you've got full control of those. So we have a little M key down here, and that's used in combination with other buttons to make various setting changes on the controller. And again, that lets you then, of course, change the lighting effects, the colors, the brightness, and so on. And of course, if you're not too happy with these, then you can actually turn them off. Now, another new feature on this device then is an interchangeable faceplate. So these are securely held on by magnetic pads, but a little bit of a pull and you can simply take it off and snap another one in its place. So this lets you instantly change the look of your controller to a range of options. And again, there's a certain number available at the moment, and I guess they will probably have more options available as time goes on. But it also, once you have the faceplate pulled off, the 4 northeast, south and west buttons over here, you can actually just pull those out and swap them around. So again, in this configuration, they are in an Xbox, but of course, if you want it to match up with your Switch, you need to swap the X and Y and the A and B around. And of course, it just lets you do it very, very quickly. So that's a quick overview of the controller itself. So one of the great features I liked about this model is that it does come with its own charging dock included in the box. So you can simply just set all of this up and drop your controller into it. So when you're finished playing, just drop it in, and then the next time you come along, it will be fully charged. There is no having to go out and buy a separate one or have a lead plugged into the wall or something like that. So the charger as well has a USB-C connection, and you get a nice long cable in the box with it. Another nice feature then on the charger then, if we look around the back of it, it has then a little slot in here which you can store. So the 2.4 gigahertz dongle is just a nice little small one. And again, when it's not in use, you can simply plug it in there so you always know where it is, and that will hopefully stop it from getting lost. So other than that then, pretty much in the box then you get a couple of bits and pieces, but you do get a nice multilingual manual, and that does take you through all of the different controls and how to adjust all of the settings on the controller. So do make sure you look through that so you don't miss some of the features. So pairing the device then it's actually really easy. First of all, if you want to, you can just use the USB-C lead and just plug it straight into a device. So your PC or your Mac or whatever, and that will just instantly come up then as an Xbox controller. If your computer doesn't have Bluetooth or you simply want a wireless USB connection, you can of course then use that 2.4 gigahertz dongle. You just plug the dongle into your computer, you set the connection mode switch on the back of the controller to the USB dongle setting, and then just power on the gamepad by holding down this home key, and that will then pair itself with the dongle, and you will now have in effect a USB gamepad, but of course running over this wireless link. And I find this mode here is great for moving the controller around between my Raspberry Pi setups and things like that. I can just plug it in, and no matter where that is, I will get a connection across to it over the wireless link. Of course, then lastly, and if you do want to connect through Bluetooth, then we do have that mode here as well. And for this, it does allow you 3 different settings for your Bluetooth. So there is a setting for switch devices. So again, that's slightly differently to the other ones. For Android, Windows and Linux, that tends to use a fairly standard Bluetooth device connection. And then if you want to connect up to an iOS device, then there is a separate one for that. And again, the way you do that is you simply power on the controller with the home key whilst holding down either the Y, A or B buttons. And again, do have a look in the manual to find out exactly how to do that. But once you've got that all set up and paired, and again it does pair pretty easily, then you've got your gamepad all set up and ready to go. Now once you've turned the unit on for the first time, you are advised to go through the calibration routine. And so again, this is only the very first time you turn it on. You don't need to do this every time you change your connection. So again, the manual does take you through how to calibrate both the Hall effect sensors so that those can actually then, of course, tune themselves into the range of motion you've got there. And it also then lets you set up the gyroscope or the tilt sensors. And again, that's just using a set of button combinations. And again, all detailed out in the manual. So once we've got connected and calibrated, we are ready to play. So this is the Super Nova connected up to my PC, and here I'm running the Zemu Xbox emulator, and we're playing Halo Combat Evolved. Again, you can see me using the controller there. Everything works as it should do, and I say it really is a nice feel to this one. No problem at all connecting it up to the PC, and then of course working perfectly in this Zemu emulator. So again, gameplay here, very smooth controls, easy to move around, and everything that you would expect from this type of device. So here we are on the Nintendo Switch, again connected over Bluetooth, and this time it's coming up again in here as a Pro controller, and I'm using it using the motion sensing inputs. So as I tilt and twist and move my the Super Nova around, you can see it's actually then being translated into the controls on the game. So everything's working as normal. So it's actually quite a nice controller for this. It gives you good control over it. Again, the problem here, of course, is I'm not very good at this particular game. But you can see the idea. And everything, as I say, gives us this Pro controller with all of those 6-axis gyroscopic controllers, giving us really good sensing and making the game play properly. So finally here, I'm actually on a Raspberry Pi running the Vice emulator for my Commodore 64. Again, we're connected over a USB-C cable just to give us a direct connection into this. This is actually the bare metal emulator I'm running here, just to sort of show that it can work with pretty much anything you want it to, and this is probably as low a level as you can go on these systems. And again, you can see everything is working fine. We're getting really good control out of this. The emulator was easily able to pick up the Super Nova controller, and we were able to map all the controls to that. And there we are now playing our Commodore 64 Uridium game. So that then is the GameSir Super Nova game controller. I say, it's a really nice unit. Really good connectivity, very versatile in the way you can just use it with any device you want. The controls, as I said, really good quality. The Hall effect sensors are a real boon, and really good feel to it all. So doing everything you would expect from a good quality game controller. So if you want to get hold of one of these, I'll put some links down in the description below, so do give those a check out. I hope you found this review useful and interesting. If so, please do click that like button and subscribe to the channel for lots more sort of reviews, gaming, modding, electronics and making projects. I look forward to seeing you again very soon, and bye for now. For more games programming, electronics projects and retro gaming, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my website.